We're rolling, Joe. Do you know it's Blue Monday today?
Blue Monday? What's that?
Blue Monday.
No.
Blue Monday is, I don't know, I get the idea from it being blue. It's like the most depressing day of the year or something like that.
So I've heard that.
And that's before you see me at any golf shots. Then it gets depressing, let me tell you. Monday morning, the, I'm going to clue, what is it? 16th of Jan, Clark's Golf Centre as usual. Just going through the warm-up routine, as ever. The fried egg sarnies have just been delivered, so great facilities up here at Clark's if you ever get a chance. Get club fitted and then get yourself some food to eat as well, which is really good. But not a bad day, quite warm, so we're not been freezing this year, have we?
No, not yet.
But we're about to start testing these things. So there's one more lying around as well somewhere. They are the part of the M1 family, as I like to call it now, affectionately. But we've got someone threw up a question on a review that we did a few weeks ago, saying about us comparing 3 woods and 5 woods and how much difference there is. At the weekend, South African Open, I don't know whether you've ever seen a lot of people having a bang at the par 4. Rory hit his 5 wood 309 yards, I think it measured, or 306, something like that. Excuse me, and I thought, yeah, that'd be a great idea is to compare, because the fairway woods, interestingly enough, from YouTube land, don't get huge views, neither do the hybrids, and that's from everyone's channel, I'm not just referring to ours. Seems to be less interest in those clubs. So we're going to do something a bit different today. So like I said, there'll be 3 clubs. There'll be the regular 3 wood, which is set at 15 degrees. TaylorMade have also brought a 3 wood high launch, which I think is 17 degrees. I'll check that out in a second. And then the 5 wood, and the 5 wood is 19 degrees, and a bit of adjustability in there, see how we get them set up. But I'm going to hit some, we're going to move this camera back, I'm going to hit some shots off camera, see if we can get some data across all 3. Then I'll hit a few on camera as ever, and see if we can get some analytics. You'll be testing these later, Joe? Or?
Yeah, as usual, I'll give them a assessment.
Yeah. I think, to be fair, more people are interested in your assessment than mine at the minute.
Yeah, well.
More comments. Anyway, go and finish off the egg butty. See you in a sec. Right, all 3 products in my hand now. So yeah, just to recap, 15, 17, Joey, what are you doing? 15, 17, 19 degree. 15 and 17 being the 3 wood, and then the slightly shorter shaft, was it, Joe?
Yeah, something like that.
On the 5 wood. You can't say something like that, mate. We give accurate information here.
It's an inch shorter.
That's better. Smaller compact head, is it? What size is the head? Give us that. Let's have a look. 132 cc, 150. So again, 5 wood, all about, I would suggest a bit more control in the shorter shaft. Smaller compact club head. Both of these clubs, let's forget doing the aesthetics bit, other than to say they both look fantastic. They are in the same vein as all the M series we've reviewed so far, so that kind of like carbon look on the crown, thinner white line, so they look great. Now then, adjustability in the 5 wood and the 3 wood's all the same. So yeah, interesting to see. Now I've hit 15 balls off camera, 5 on each. Try to give you some information there where you can see with similar strikes and how the sort of different loft has affected overall performance, spin numbers, all the other things. So we'll look at those in the end. As ever, for whatever reason, I don't think it'd make much of a video if I didn't hit some shots on it, otherwise we'd just be talking about numbers. So I'm going to hit a few on the camera and then give you my sort of feedback as we go. I'm going to just hit the 5 wood, Joe, to start with.
Yeah, sound.
Now the 5 wood is set up at 19 degrees, but in terms of, I've actually lowered that loft slightly in terms of the adjustability in the hosel. And I've got it on a slightly draw bias, and there's a lot of arguments to suggest how much effect this slide-in weight has. And in this argument, it's all about strike at the end of the day. I like the way this is set up with a slightly draw bias in the head. Anyway, let's hit some golf balls.
Oh,
did down the left, have I, my face? Oh, we've set up a green, have you, Joe?
Yeah, I've got a green at
nice one. Okay, so a little bit tweak it to the left. First feedback was nice out the middle. My alignment needs to go down that right hand side. So let's just hit another ball before we say too much. Oh Joe, I've turned that one over, haven't I?
Yeah.
Great launch angle on this. I mean, it's again, nice shot shape right to left. You watch a lot of my videos that'll do this, but so we set up this green at what's the yardage in the green, Joe?
240.
Got 240. You missed 2 with that. 239. What was the first ball? Do you remember? You have a look.
Was.
Let's try one more while you're just sort of
229.
229. So 5 wood. Let's just have one more shot with this thing before we. Oh, Joe, I've nailed that.
Nice shot.
That's a beautiful shot. That could be too big, couldn't it?
Yeah, maybe.
Fantastic launch, but right down the middle, and that's a 5 wood. And let me tell you, I'm going to spoil the figures at the end. That's by far the best shot I hit on with the 5 wood, and that's absolutely. I mean, it went out the middle, good club head speed, low spin and everything. I mean, geez, that's a 16 degrees of launch. Forget that every time. I'd have one of them in the bag, but I'm going to leave it there. I've hit 3 shots. You've seen this thing performs, you know, and but what I'd like to do is, rather than me waffle on about my opinion on it, no, I won't waffle on. What I'll say is all these clubs are very, very good. That's an overall assessment. What we're really looking at is the difference between the 3 and the 5, or the slightly different change in lofts. I think we're more interested in. So let's recap. Overall opinion of the M1 fairways, absolutely superb. You go and get fitted, you won't be disappointed with any of them. So that's not what we're going to do today. It's something slightly different. I'll go high launch with the 3 first, Joe, so we'll sort of go up the lofts. So don't forget, this has got the high launch standard loft on this is 17 degrees, same adjustability. I've got this at standard loft. Arguably, the same similar setup as what we've got in the 5 when we knock it down a notch, but not too much difference in these, but we'll see how it affects, or how it has affected the launch and overall performance. Really powerful strike again, Joe.
Yeah.
Great launch on this, and you can see the high launch. It's slightly, I suppose, tad down the right, but if I was looking to sort of find a fairway, which is again, I'm using the, interestingly enough for me, I'm using the M1 of last year, 3 wood. It's my favoured tee shot, so I've got a strong opinion on these. But yeah, managed to hit the green with that, and again, nice strike. Oh, that's not done it any justice. We'll give this one 3 as well, Joe, because that was a horrible throw. Let's concentrate on this one. Same sort of cutty shot, really, wasn't it? Sort of threw the club out there at it a bit. I'm going to give this one 4 goes on camera, Joe. I mean, it's an odd one because, and again with me, the higher launch, and the interesting thing is, we'll change something. We'll probably can cut that for a second, can you?
Yeah, we'll do that.
And we'll change something. I had, and there's an argument to suggest, and no doubt, like I said, they weren't the greatest golf shots. However, in the 5 wood option, I had the weight at the back slid to a slightly draw bias, and I'm going to do the same with this 3 wood. So the setup now is effectively the same. That's a super strike.
Yeah.
It's certainly straightened it up. It's and again, don't get me wrong, arguably we'll look at the proper numbers and see how much that was affected by the strike and the swing rather than the change in the weight setup within the club head. Certainly the whole balance of the swing felt better for me, and I think sometimes I don't care even if this is sometimes in the head. the game of golf is a huge mental challenge, and if I have changed a setting and all of a sudden I start to hit it straighter, then I'll take that, whether or not it's the science in the club head or the science of my brain functioning differently, but whatever. Let's see if we can back that up with one more though, Joe. It certainly health matters. That's a first ball I've been able to turn over, if effect, and I know it's not a great shot in terms of where it's gone, but it certainly feels like I can play a different shot with this than I can with the than I could with the setup as being neutral. So interesting. Am I allowed one more?
Yeah, you're allowed one more. Go on.
Allowed one more, aren't I? With this new setting. Come on, let's see if we can get a decent ball to. It's a nice ball, Joe, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a nice ball. It's again, I like the high launch. It's bullet straight. Lost a bit in terms of yardage there. Maybe it was a bit too floaty, a little tad bit of mat. But again, let's look at the figures afterwards and see. The overall strikes, again, don't forget, not the few I hit on camera, because what we certainly learned over these last few weeks is just by analysing the sort of 5 shots on camera, it's very difficult to give. To back the strikes up a little bit with a bit of logic, so we'll have a closer look at these later on. Anyway, let's see if we can finish off. So now we're going down to the regular 3-wood. And what I'm going to do before we go too far, Joe, we'll try and keep settings the same. So we'll move this from standard to a slightly draw bias in terms of the weighting. I mean, a bit wild, Joe, isn't it?
Yeah, a bit right.
That's better?
Yeah, it's a better shot.
Fading out a tad at the end, but it'll hang on. Again, to be fair, I mean, I've got this set up as standard loft, so it's a 15 degrees, but no problem with the launch on this. The interesting thing for me, let's hit one more. It's another great ball, Joe. These are great clubs. I mean, like I said, this is, as ever, you'll see plenty of my bad shots thrown into boot to bring some reality. Oh, Joe, that was nearly hit the stick. Still don't know whether what would happen if you.
Yeah, if you got.
Can you get a hole in one on? Does it count to your hole in one?
Oh yeah, yeah. I think it's.
Yeah, the interesting thing for me, I mean, that's again 15 launch, so I'd be more than happy that with a 3-wood. Spin numbers right down. Club head speed, everything about that last shot was pretty good. Like I said, you see plenty of my bad shots thrown into boot to bring some reality to proceedings, but if we try and concentrate on the good strikes, I think that would be, no comments down below saying there are none. If we try and concentrate on those and focus on those numbers in particular when you sort of want to have a real good monitor of performance. But yeah, these are real good golf clubs. This is all about preference, and the interesting thing for me, I suppose the original setup was this: 5-wood versus 3-wood, and to be quite honest with you, I'd be more than happy to stick with the 5-wood. Because of the greater control, shorter shaft, certainly felt as though I could find fairways with it. And I'd like to play a little bit more with that, to be fair. Having said all of that, like I said, any of these clubs would be more than suitable. I'm going to leave it there, quit while we're ahead on one landing on the green, and hope you enjoyed that one. Bit of different analysis on 3 and 5 wood. So we'll go back to the office and see if the numbers back any of this up. Okay, back in the office and time to take a look at the figures from this morning's testing, and I've got to say I really enjoyed that. It was, to be fair, it was an idea of one of the subscribers who suggested we compare 3-wood and 5-wood, and not something that I would have particularly thought of perhaps doing. And the reason we sort of did it this morning was because a lot of the fairway woods and hybrid videos that we do and others do on channels are not often the best watch, so not Not as interesting for whatever reason. People like the drivers, and the irons are no doubt the best viewed videos out there. So we thought we'd try something a bit different, whereby we could review the product and at the same time analyse some data between, like I said, different lofts in the 3 and 5 wood. And even better, with this new M1 series, we were able to go from 3 wood 15 degrees, the high launch 3 wood, which was set at 17 degrees, and a 5 wood at 19 degrees. So there was a broad sort of spectrum to look across, and like I said, it's really interesting to hit some balls and then come back and have a look at the data. And I think we'll start off with a 5 wood, and this was probably the surprise package, if you like, because of the numbers we managed to obtain, and or I obtained. I think first of all, with the shots that I hit off camera, we got an average launch of 14.6, and this is the bit that I find interesting. There was an 11.2 and 12.1 in there, so again, take those bad shots, if you like, out of the equation, and probably raise that up to a sort of 15 to 16 launch. And again, when I've got a ball that's high launch and low spinning, that combination could be really good in terms of overall performance. Strike was decent on these, more than happy with the performance off camera. So average again was a total distance of 231, but with a 215 thrown in there, again, take that out of the equation, we could probably bump that up considerably as well. You then go to the shots that I hit on camera, and again performed very well, got some decent club head speed, slightly increased on camera, it's a little excitable and give it a bit more of a whack, I suppose. Averaged out at 94 miles an hour, and the final shot that I hit was 97 miles an hour club head speed, and that generated a number of figures that ultimately landed in a 257 yard overall 234 carry. If I could hit that every time with a 5 wood off the tee, I'd be more than happy. Reality is I probably wouldn't, and or with all the sort of averages thrown into boot, let's say I could certainly sort of get this 5 wood out there around the 240 mark, 235, 240 mark, I would think. And then when you consider the extra control that you've got and the shorter shaft that the 5 wood offers, then it's a real sort of consideration to have in the bag. And you know, how much are we giving up really to the to choose a 3 wood, which potentially is the more difficult club to use, I suppose. It's the longer shaft, and then again less loft in the club head, although like I said, with this high launch version that we hit next, there's very little difference, I suppose, in the kind of degree of loft by the time we notch one up and notch one down, with the manoeuvrability in the adjustability rather in the M1 range. Weren't too different, but the length of shaft certainly was. And with the high launch angle again, club head speed remained very consistent both on and off camera, around 93, 92. Launch angle, few bad ones thrown in there, but again around the sort of 15 degrees I would say on average, again when you look at those figures closely. Spin numbers more than good enough, and again aside from taking the odd bad shot out, we got some decent numbers here with this high launching product. And again, I would say probably similar performance, overall performance in terms of overall carry and overall distance than the 5 wood, not too dissimilar. Question is there, do I think I can control a 5 wood in terms of, again, going back to the length of shaft, more so than I can the longer shaft of the 3 wood, high launch version. And then onto the regular 3 wood again, so the longer shaft, smaller head, set at 15 degrees. As what the standard setting is 15 degrees. Don't forget we had a little bit of tweaking around on this, but again, ultimately 92 mile an hour club head speed, remained fairly consistent. And again, probably overall the averages suggest that both on and off camera, the overall distance, it was a slightly longer distance with the 3 wood, which you would expect with again the lower loft. We still managed to maintain, taking a few out of the equation there, I'd say we probably got sort of around the 14, 15 launch again, which degrees of launch, which I've been more than happy with. And again, keeping the spin numbers down incredibly low. And strike with the 3 wood was fairly consistent and decent. More than happy with the performance of this. Like I said, more than happy with any of these products, to be fair. If you're considering fairway woods, then this new M1 2017 range is very, very good. But what we're looking at is really specifically here the difference between maybe the 5 and the or the difference in degrees of loft between a 3 and a 5 wood and the one in between. My overall assessment would be quite a surprise, to be honest with you, and I would certainly consider the compromise of losing maybe 5 or 10 yards off the tee, but with greater control, the 5-wood is a real possible alternative to consider to have in the bag, and it may throw up an extra option from off the fairway as well into long par 5s. Again, just sitting there with that little bit more loft at address, breed a bit of confidence, might be a little bit easier to pick up off a tight lie on the fairway. So again, throws that variety in of options, if you like, have it in the bag. So really interesting. Thanks for whoever suggested the video and the comparison, because on a personal level I really enjoyed it. I hope you did too. Don't forget, if you did, give us a thumbs up, comments down below. Always happy to get some comments, and we try wherever to get back and reply. And if you don't subscribe to the channel, then please do so. If you do already, then thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed that one, and we'll see you soon on TUpload TV. Thank you. Bye.
Oh.
You know what, you get more comments about your swing than I do mine.
It's because I'm the better golfer.
All right.
Hold on, let me do it.
It's not really funny if you just like do the same thing. You've got a nail on you.
Oh God.
Watch you walk up with that swing.
Watch. Now I'll go too hard and.
Come on,
impress myself. Oh.
Stop doing that.
I don't know. If I connected doing that, it'd go. Right, stay there.
That's sky track just for. How can you hit the sky track 6 inches away from you to the right? The ball to the left of bay. It's here. Like, come on, concentrate. This is just.
Oh.
People are never going to believe you play off 8.
People won't believe you play off 8. Right. Oh.
A bit long video.
Have it?
My video lasts about 10 minutes for a review.
Oh God! Right, this is the last time. Yeah, it feels nice. I can't hit it for.
Come on.
Oh, there we go.
We're going to have to change this feature.
It still hasn't got it. The sky track's rubbish.
It really was.